All right, good evening, grade 8s. Tonight's lesson will be on multiplying mixed numbers. I want to show you something here first. So take a look. If you don't remember what a mixed number is, this is an example here. The way we would say this number is 1 and 1/4. I want you to take a look over here. How would we model that using fraction circles? Well, 1 red circle represent the 1 and 1/4. So 1 and 1/4 that way, or looks like that. Now, what we have to know is how to change a mixed number into an improper fraction. So if you don't remember how, there's a couple ways we can do it. One is we can go back and model it. How many quarters would it take to fill up this circle? So we'll go like this and use our manipulatives here. And so you can count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it takes 5 quarters to cover up 1 1/4 circle. So if we went back here, we could say 1/4 is actually equal to, well, it took us 5 quarters. So that's one way you can answer that problem. That's if we had access to fraction circles at all times. But guess what? Life doesn't work out that way, and sometimes you don't have your fraction circles with you when you're asked this question. So can I show you another way I'd do it? Another way I would do it is I would go, the trick is to take the large number on the outside, in this case 1, we multiply it by the denominator. So 1 times 4 is 4, and then we add whatever the numerator is. So in this case, it's another 1. So we go 1 times 4, which equals, sorry, you got to put up my writing here, which equals 4. And then we add whatever the numerator was, in this case, 1. So that gives us 5. And that becomes your new number on the top of your improper fraction. And the denominator always stays the same. In this case, it was 4, so we just shift the 4 over, and you have 5/4. So either way, you get there. You get to the 5/4 as your answer. So hopefully you see how that works there. Let's try another one. Let's just do 2 and 1 third. Okay, so can we rewrite that as an improper fraction? Well, let's go back to the fraction strips here, fraction circles. So we said 2 and 1/3. All right, so there's 2 and 1/3. Well, let's see how many thirds would it take to cover up these. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the 7 one. So our answer is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 thirds. Let's go over here. Write that down. 7/3. But how do I solve it if I don't have fraction strips on me? Well, remember, our rule is we take the number on the outside, in this case 2. We're going to multiply it by the denominator, in this case 3. And we know 2 times 3 is equal to 6. And then we always add the numerator. In this case, it is 1. And that is equal to 7. We take that new number, we put it on top of our fraction, and the denominator was 3, and all we do is we slide that over there, and our new answer becomes 7/3. All right, let's take a look at, because if you remember, our lesson today is actually about multiplying mixed numbers. So let's take a look at what it looks like to multiply mixed numbers. How we'll do that is I'll give you a real life scenario. You guys know I enjoy Kit Kats. Well, I've been trying to cut down on my Kit Kat consumption. So what I'm doing is I'm only eating half of a Kit Kat each day now. So I'm trying to cut that down. All right, so imagine that I'm eating half of a Kit Kat. And Mr. Lamb comes into my room the other day after math and sees I have all these extra Kit Kats on my desk. And he decides to start eating Kit Kats. He didn't realize how good they were. He thought Big Turks were where it was at. But he now realizes Kit Kats are where it's at. And he couldn't stop eating the other day. So I looked, and he actually ate 2.5 times what I ate. So I ate a half, and Mr. Lamb actually ate 2.5 times what I ate. All right, so let's look at that question. A half times 2.5. Well, let's pull out our fraction strips here. To erase the previous questions, so just give me a second here. All right, so let's take a look at this. So I originally ate a half of a Kit Kat, so there's the half. Now, Mr. Lamb ate 2.5 times that. So let's take out the 2 first. So he ate 1, 2.5. What's a half of a half? Which one of these fraction circles covers that up? Yep, right there, 1/4. So guess what? Here's your answer right here. Mr. Lamb ended up eating a full Kit Kat and 1/4 of a Kit Kat. So he ate 1.25. So let's go back over here and say half of 1.25 half times 2.5 is equal to 1.25. Okay, easy enough, right? Well, what happens in this case when if I don't have fraction circles on me? What do I do to solve this? Well, the rule of thumb is it's tough to multiply a fraction by a mixed number, so we got to change one of them. We got to change the mixed number. Let's change it to an improper fraction. So we'll rewrite this equation up here. So I'll rewrite it below here, and actually I'll change color. Green. All right, so I'll rewrite our new question in green. So we got 1.5. That doesn't need to change because we learned in the previous lesson how to multiply fractions. So let's change this. So now remember, the rule of thumb is take the big number on the outside, multiply it by the denominator. In this case, 2 times 2 is 4. Add the numerator, 5. That becomes my new number on top. And the denominator stays the same. Okay. So our rule when multiplying fractions we learned in the previous lesson was multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. So in this case, 1 times 5 is 5. And 2 times 2 is 4. So our answer is 5/4. Or I can change it back to a mixed numeral. How many times is 4 going to 5? Once. And what do we have left over? 1 piece over 4. So 5/4 is equal to 1.25. So there are 2 ways to answer that problem. All right, grade 8. So that's going to be it for the first part of this video. In the next part, I'm going to give you a couple questions and we'll work through it, and then I'll leave you with a question for the evening. All right? I'll see you in part 2.